My friend mirrors everything I do, and now she's copying my medical condition. Posted by u/creative_device_6764. I feel like I'm losing my mind and just need someone to tell me I'm not crazy. My friend, let's call her Stacy, has always had this strange habit of mimicking me, but recently it's gone from slightly annoying to deeply unsettling. It's like she's trying to become me, and I don't know how to deal with it anymore. I'm 25, and Stacy is 24. Stacy is a fun person to be around, and we've been friends for over 5 years now. She comes over, and I let her borrow my clothes or give her clothes that I don't want anymore. I don't really like her style, but she lets me borrow her clothes when I want. I knew she had a tendency to lie, but the lies were harmless, or at least I thought so. Sometimes, it felt like she was just joking or trying to make herself seem more interesting. I ignored it, which, in hindsight, was a mistake. Over time, though, the lies became more frequent, and I started to notice how often they revolved around me. We were fine, and our friendship was good, but I started to feel weird about her when my sister messaged me, saying Stacy had been talking behind my back. She was telling people that I kicked her out of my condo and that I had men constantly coming in and out of my place, making her feel unsafe while she was there. Big lie, by the way. Here's what actually happened. Stacy had come to my city while I was back in my hometown. She was staying with another friend, but that arrangement fell through. Without asking, she started bringing all her stuff to my place. She didn't book a return flight home and didn't ask if she could stay long term. My roommate doesn't like Stacy because she's messy, she leaves clothes everywhere, and doesn't clean up after herself. The last time she stayed, she overstayed her welcome by a week, and I didn't know when she planned to leave. This time, my roommate was coming back the next day, and I knew she wouldn't want Stacy staying with us. I politely asked Stacy if she could stay somewhere else, explaining the situation. She said it was fine and that she'd stay with another friend. But apparently, she turned around and told that friend all the lies my sister relayed to me. So, onto the mirroring. The copying happened over long periods of time. We've been friends for 5 years now, but I only started noticing it about a year ago. Here are some instances where I felt she was copying me. I told her I was going to manage my parents' business. A week later, she told everyone she was going to manage her parents' business too. It never happened. I said I was moving to the city to finish college. Suddenly, she was telling people she was moving to the same city for college. It never happened. I started looking for styling jobs and internships. A week later, she told me she got a styling job, but it never happened. There were other instances, though small, like when I got a new phone, and she immediately blurted out that she was going to get a new phone for free from some guy. Or when I got a tattoo from a popular tattoo artist, and she instantly claimed that the artist had messaged her for a session, but she couldn't go because she was in the hospital, things like that. At first, I brushed it off, thinking maybe she just wanted to feel included. But the pattern of claiming to do what I was doing, without actually following through, kept happening. I've always been someone who works hard and takes pride in being productive. I understand that a little mirroring is normal in friendships, but Stacy's behavior felt different. She's someone who doesn't have much direction in life, she hasn't finished high school, has no real plans or passions, and doesn't put effort into learning skills that could lead to a career. I try to be patient, but things escalated in a way I didn't expect. She copied my medical condition. This was the tipping point, and a situation I have never been in before, and I felt so creeped out about it. About a year ago, I had a partial salpingectomy due to an infection in my fallopian tube. It was one of the most painful experiences of my life. My tube ruptured, and the infection spread throughout my body, sepsis, I believe it's called. Luckily, I was already in the hospital, so they removed the tube and started me on antibiotics. Even so, my doctor told me I might struggle to have children in the future. It was traumatic, and the recovery process was long and emotional. A few weeks ago, Stacy went to the hospital. I messaged her to ask what happened, but she just sent a selfie of herself in a hospital bed. I was busy with finals at school, so I didn't follow up right away. 2 days later, she messaged me again, saying she was exhausted from being in the hospital for 4 days. I asked what was wrong, and she said she had the same condition I did. I was shocked. She claimed she had a ruptured cyst in her fallopian tube that became infected, almost went into heart failure, and needed a blood transfusion. She said she was supposed to have surgery, but they didn't proceed because of her weak condition. I immediately knew she was lying. If your fallopian tube is infected and ruptured, surgery isn't optional, it's mandatory. I'm not a doctor, but after my experience, I did a lot of research, and what she described just didn't make sense. Now here's the thing, I told people I had a ruptured cyst because I didn't know how else to explain my condition without getting into the gross details. You say cyst, and people don't really ask anymore. The truth is, it was a really bad infection that only escalated because of my IUD. The infection grew in my fallopian tube and got so big they thought it was a cyst at first, hence why I decided to just call it a cyst. And I did mention to her that it was a good thing I was already in the hospital because if all that happened and I got sepsis, it could have caused heart failure. I feel like she only mirrored what I said but tried to make her condition seem worse. Nothing she said made any sense. She was in the hospital, but the reason she gave sounds completely made up. Even on a group call while she was still in the hospital, she was listing medications to herself, almost as if she was trying to convince us it was real. She also later told a story about how she jumped on the hospital bed when her brother came to visit. Who does that after a life-threatening emergency? At this point, I felt insane. Because who lies about something like this? Am I crazy? Is she copying me? Is she really a bad friend? Am I imagining all of it? Reading into it too much? Is it bad if I don't want to be friends with her anymore? She's my friend, and I want to help her, but it's hard to approach her if all she does is lie. I want to distance myself from her, but we have mutual friends, and I know she'll spread more lies about me if I pull away. Has anyone else dealt with a friend like this? How do you create distance without creating unnecessary drama? Edit. I want to add that a few hours ago, she just posted a screenshot on her story of a course list with the same subjects as the course I'm taking right now. She has never shown any interest in my course, so this is really weird. I wonder if she's just messing with me at this point. Update 2 months later. Hello everyone, I wanted to thank all the people who have taken the time to read my last post. I'm really grateful for all the advice and for helping reassure me that I wasn't crazy. I reached out to a lot of my friends during the holidays and told them about the concerns I have with Stacy. I don't know where to start, so I'll try to organize my thoughts as much as I can. But honestly, it's a lot worse than I thought. I haven't run into her at all since I went back to my hometown, thank God. When I knew she was back in town, I avoided going out altogether, barely replied to her texts, and obviously told my friends, who were very supportive, by the way, that I did not want to be where she was. Luckily, we all took a trip out of town that she was recently uninvited from due to her having a lot of issues with the people going. I'm thankful for that because I really did not want to see her. When my friend, we'll call him Ryan, and I took a trip to a nearby town, we reached out to one of our friends who lived there. We'll call her Danny. Now, Danny was really close with Stacy, they would hang out almost every day. Everyone knew them to be BFFs, and well, now they're no longer friends. Stacy told me about the falling out situation, so I wanted to hear Danny's side, and when I tell you it was a whole different story, Stacy made Danny look crazy, insecure, over-emotional, and inconsiderate. I was shocked at how different the two stories were. Danny started opening up about how Stacy borrowed money from her for rent, kept treating her horribly, and pushed her around. I told Danny that I didn't know she was that much of a bitch, I had never seen that side of her at all. Danny replied, "That's because she's obsessed with you. You don't even know." That sent chills all over my body. She went on to say that every single time she was with Stacy, she would talk about me, my hobbies, the issues I have in my life, including dating and very personal things. Stacy wanted to dress like me and do whatever I was doing. She would buy the same accessories as me, the same shoes as me, and tell everybody about me. She would talk about how she and I were really close. Anytime I dyed my hair, she would want the same colors. It made me feel so uncomfortable hearing all of this, knowing I thought this girl was my friend. But at the same time, she would apparently belittle me. Anytime someone gave me a compliment and I wasn't there, she would tell people I smell bad, have poor hygiene, and that I slept with a lot of guys. She would also claim that I got all of my connections from her. Meanwhile, she was telling Danny that she was only friends with me because she could get connections from me. Hello, the contradictions? And Danny added that Stacy does not shower. She doesn't even own her own soap, shampoo, or conditioner. That's when I realized where the comments about me having bad hygiene were coming from. All of the insults she throws at other people are really just reflections of herself. She sleeps around. She has bad hygiene. She gets her connections from me. She is insecure. These are the kinds of things she would say about others, and now I see the pattern. It's all just her mirroring her own insecurities and projecting them onto other people. I couldn't say I was shocked, but I was definitely hurt and had chills. When I asked Danny how long this had been going on, she replied, "Since the first time she met Stacy, which was 4 years ago. I can't believe I was friends with Stacy for so long and never noticed how toxic she was. She would even end up not paying her rent because she'd spend all her money buying the same things I had or traveling to my city to visit me. Also, I kind of figured out her medical condition that she claimed was the same as mine. It was an STI/STD. One of the guys she was seeing also ended up in the hospital, and she accidentally let it slip to one of our friends that it was because of her infection. I'm not shaming her at all, I never cared how she chose to live her life, but I always reminded her to wrap it up, especially if she was seeing guys like that. Well, I hope someone reminds her now because she will not be hearing it from me or hearing from me anymore, at all. I feel drained by all of the information I've been getting about her. I guess now that I see her for who she really is, I can finally hear what other people have been saying more clearly. My close friends and I all agree that we've learned a lot from meeting Stacy. I was too nice and too generous, and I allowed myself to be used by someone I thought was my friend. She's a flat-out narcissist, and honestly, I kind of knew it from the moment I met her, but I let it slide. Now, I'm more skeptical of the people I meet. I honestly hope I never have to see her again.